Well, good morning, or more precisely, the afternoon. We are in a place called Yarra Glen, about, I don't know, 30 or 40 kilometers out of Melbourne, maybe a bit more. Yeah, it's more than that. Who knows? Detail. We're going over some old haunts. This is the Yarra Valley, the famous wine-growing Yarra Valley of Victoria in Australia. Anyway, I'm here again, Andy and his rental Harley Davidson Heritage Classic. As the lady in the car park cafe I pulled into earlier said, "Oh, is that a David Harlison you're riding? It's very big." Well, she didn't quite say it like that, but something like that. Anyway, yes, it is a David Harlison. The road layouts here have changed since I used to ride out these parts. Hopefully not too many traffic lights and roundabouts. This is what you call countryside. Something that we don't really get in my chosen hometown for the moment of Singapore. What other differences are there to Singapore, one might ask? Well, I just did. Well, Australia is big, as in very big. Singapore is a tiny little island. So there are more roads here, more bends. Many of my riding friends in Singapore are used to bends, who have been riding around Malaysia and Thailand. But those riders who only know Singapore will not really have experienced going round corners on a motorcycle. If you don't ride a motorcycle, then of course you haven't experienced going round corners on a motorcycle by definition. You have missed out. The land. This is the big difference. The land is vast. It is carved out in history. There are many stories to tell about this land. Some which would take 1 million vlogs, and stories about the original people who lived here. Rightly so, they say they borrowed the land. We have come since. We all borrow the land, just like time. What we will talk about in a little while is what's called the Black Spur, where we'll see some incredibly fine mountain ash trees. These are common trees in the hills around here. Actually, they are very tall trees when they're allowed to grow tall. Many of these have been logged over time, but now there are national parks here to protect them. The Americans love their sequoias, and rightly so. They are fine trees, but the mountain ash grows even taller, I am told. Well, no one told me, I just looked it up. It was there. Wikipedia, so it must be true. Some of the tallest trees here are 150 meters. I have seen some of them many years ago. Luckily, the fires of the last few years have not damaged some of the heritage ones, but we will talk about the bushfires in a bit. Enjoy the scenery for a little bit, then I'll come back to you. The thing about the eucalypts here is that they need fire for rebirth, for seed generation. Fire is a necessary part of the cycle of the forest, or the bush as the Australians call it. There's more than one bush, I can assure you. The indigenous people of the land here for thousands of years lived at one in harmony with the bush, all of them, and they tended to it in a way, sometimes creating fires to prevent bigger fires. It's all part of nature's harmony and synergy between beasts and flora, and that's something that we are still struggling to find our way with in this modern world. We're learning still, and there's a lot to learn. A lot of this forest here. Oh, nice to see you too. A lot of this forest here was badly affected by the fires of February the 7th and 8th, 2009, which tragically took the lives of, I think it was 173 people. We were right up to a memorial to that event. I remember it well because the suburb in which my family were living at the time, I was away living in China, but my sons and daughter were here, and they were describing the amazing heat of that day, February 7th. Temperatures, parts of Victoria are 50 degrees centigrade. I don't know what it is for you Americans who like Fahrenheit or fathoms or whatever. I don't know how many degrees fathoms that is, but it's hot. And it was dry. I think the humidity was something like 2 or 3%, I believe. I'll correct that with some factoids on the screen. My brain can't cope with all these heavy statistics. Look at that. Green and blue. Greens and blues. Deep greens and blues. The colours I choose. Won't you let me go down in your dreams and rock by sweet baby James, etc. Well, I might as well relax because there's nowhere to really get by these cars, and there's a lot of police out. I noticed one earlier. They like to stick pointy things out of their window and then give you a bit of paper to tell you off. I will be a good boy, as I always am. Usually 340 days of the year. That's not bad. Normally on these roads you'd hang out right on a left-hand bend so you can see round it, and then coming back for a right-hand bend you'd sit on the left. It's quite a narrow road, a bit uneven, so you've got to be a bit careful with that. It works, but when the traffic's busy it's sometimes better just to sort of kind of sit more central in the lane. And the speeds we're going at now don't really, yeah, could go a lot faster on a faster bike with a younger man on it. Who said I'm old? Look at that. Ferns, mountain ash, beautiful, pristine. We have to protect it. Cue nice music.
We're going down. Now I can hold you
So that's the Black Spur. Something to respect. Loved by motorcyclists. Used to ride up there with friends, work colleagues as well. They were, I suppose, my friends. It's possible to have both. Not mutually exclusive. Well, not usually. But the speed limit has been reduced because there's been a lot of accidents, of course. And the old adage, there's lots of old bikers and lots of bold bikers, but there's not many old bikers. I'm probably in that category. A bit slower than most. I'm still riding after all these years. Who said I was old? So we're soon coming to the turn off to Marysville. As I said, February the 7th, 2009 was a dark day. Black Saturday it was referred to because these were the fiercest fires Australia had seen for many years, and has seen some since, but not the fatalities and injuries. Marysville, small town, very quaint, nestled in a valley, surrounded intensely by rainforest, and that suffered. There were two fire fronts which coalesced in this area. I've forgotten the names of them. I will use my pointy things to put some facts up. The Country Fire Authority, which is the main set of volunteers mainly to deal with these fires, was out in force. It must have been exhausting work trying to save property and, more importantly, lives. Here we are in Marysville. Beautiful. But you can see the scars. New buildings, completely new. Good heavens, I don't recognize it. That's remarkable. That was the last time I came back here. There's the bakery cafe. That's where I'm going to pull up.
20 nights and 20 days, lost without a friendly face. No reflection from my soul, emptiness is rising tall. Calling to my brighter side, wishing for a place to hide, a place to leave the dark in me forever and ever. Chasing sunlight, racing for life, breaking silence to master the lies. You can tell the story, but I can deal. Telling it again doesn't make it real. I am on the run, I am chasing light. I'm finally a part of the race for life. For 20 nights and 20 days, I was drifting out of space. I turned away from every sound, from everything that shook my ground. But slowly I would start to change, feel the light within my range. The aberration time is due forever and ever. Make it real. I am on the run, I am chasing light. I'm for life. I'm finally a part of the race for life.